again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers present and to anybody who has a mother. Whenever I lead, you always have to do a little bit of research. You want to have a little bit to offer, and that one of the best things about doing this is the fact that you do learn something new. So my question today is, how did I get to be 61 before I ever bothered to ask where did Mother's Day come from? It's just a fact, right? We've all grown up with it as a fact. So its origins are as simple as its title, but that's not really true. So the more research I did, the more layered the story became. So where I'm settling is not where Heather Cox Richardson did when she did her whole bit about Julia Ward Howard. Try to put an L on it. So it comes down to Anna Jarvis is the one who was actually actively advocating for Mother's Day back in the day, because she wanted a simple holiday that would celebrate her mother and her mother's peace activist work. And then there was somebody before that. And so the deeper we look at history, the more explanations we come up with. And so Anna Jarvis is credited with being the one who was promoting the idea, who got Woodrow Wilson to sign it into law. So that's how we got to her. Heather Cox Richardson had wonderful things to say about Mother's Day being promoted as the talents of motherhood bring talents of leadership, and that we should forge forward with that and recognize that women have great potential that is mostly unrecognized in a male world. But Anna Jarvis wanted to celebrate her mother, and she wanted it to be a very simple celebration. Her mother had lived during the Civil War, and she had done many great things. So at that time in the Appalachians, there were a lot of children who died from diseases like diphtheria and whatnot. And so she originally organized in these mother groups to go out and educate so that other people wouldn't suffer as she had from losing so many children. That progressed to her work during the Civil War, that she really promoted the idea that we should care for the wounded soldiers, regardless of which side of any given issue they were on, and that they should take care of each other. And then to her own physical concerns, that there were physical threats against her, when after the Civil War, she actually promoted a Mother's Friendship Day to bring the sides of the community back together after the war was over. Because life goes on, as we all know, right? So that's what Anna really wanted to recognize, this fact that in a simple way, that she wanted to continue to honor what her mother could do and what other mothers did for their children. So, and here we are in history. At the end of her life, she actually promoted that she wanted to abolish Mother's Day because she was deeply dismayed by the fact that it became a very commercial holiday. That the people who made cards and sold flowers and trinkets and whatnot really were focused on this as an opportunity for commercialism, and that wasn't how she felt that she could honor her mother. She always envisioned a simple handwritten card or a simple shared sentiment with one's mother, rather than going out and spending a bunch of money. So I want to talk a little bit about motherhood. This one here over here is a better one to talk about motherhood. Janet is, so we'll leave that to her. But when I started thinking about leading today, I really thought about how birth goes, and how birth is labor and it's work. And if you think about it in metaphor, there's the child in a safe place that he or she really has no reason to leave, and then through natural processes is forced into this birth canal, goes down this long dark tunnel, unbeknownst to them what's going to be at the other end, but knows that they need to strive to come out into the light. And lo and behold, you arrive someplace where you are loved and cared for. So I think of us at Justice Southbury's mothers all, whether we're male or female, because we were invigorated by the murder of George Floyd, and really felt compelled to come here to our corner and advocate that we need to love our neighbors all the time, all our neighbors, every day, not just on a holiday. So, when you speak extemporaneously, when you wrote something, sometimes you say what you said before you meant to say it. So, you know, Justice Southbury has become an anchor of motherhood for me, because whether it's raining, whether it's cold, whether there's a flood, no matter what, we have showed up to continue this commitment to believing in a more fair and just world. And I think that that we deserve a round of applause for that. And motherhood is really also about the example we as mothers set for our children. So I wanted to share that I've read this great book, The Three Mothers, and it was a book written reflecting on the influence of the mothers of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and James Baldwin, and all of the hardships that they were forced to endure. But despite all the hardships that they endured, especially as black women in society, that they instilled values in these famous men who went on to change the world in their own ways. And that's just something that's just so amazing and exciting to me, to think about that the little things that we do, the butterfly power that my husband is very entranced with, that those little moves that we make influence our kids, and our kids go out and influence other people, and so on and so forth. And so that if we stay true to the ideal that we're here for now, you know, that we can't help but come out well.